Today we're going to talk about compound interest, and before we get into the actual activity, I'm going to do a quick review with you. Let's say you had $100 and your parents decided out of the generosity of their hearts to give you 10% monthly interest. So 10% of $100 is $10. Okay, this is 10% interest. So at the end of the first month, you have your original $100 plus the $10 that you got in interest. So you now have $110 at the end of the first month. Not bad. Now at the end of the second month, you're going to receive 10% interest on your balance, which is 110. 10% of 110 is $11. You now have a grand total of $121 at the end of the second month. What I want you to see here is this $11. 11 is more than $10. That's because compound interest is interest that grows on itself. So at the end of the third month, you're going to have 10% interest on 121, which is $12.10. Do you see how that's growing? Okay, compound interest grows on itself. Okay, so now we're going to do the activity. For this activity, you're going to need two different colored yarn, a ruler in inches, a pair of scissors, and some tape. And the first thing I want you to do is to take one of those colors of yarn and measure out 5.5 inches. Now here's the thing with yarn. Yarn can be stretchy. So I want you to lay it on this ruler nicely and just gently kind of press it down until you get to 5.5, and that's where you're going to cut it. Okay. Now I want you to take the second color and measure out 31 inches. I'm going to show you a trick to this one. Okay, you're going to hold it up there at the top. You're going to measure all the way down, again, not pulling it too tight. You're going to wrap it around the back side. So now you have 12 inches plus 12 inches, which is 24. And now we're going to take it down another 7 inches, and you're going to end up with 31 inches. Okay, let's take the short one, because now I want to show you that we are going to represent each one of these inches as $10,000. So the first inch is 10,000, the second inch is 20,000. We go down to 30, 40, 50, and then 55,000 because we're between 5 and 6. So this piece of yarn represents $55,000. Not bad. All right, here's the scenario. Let's say you're 18 years old and you get together with your best friend and you make a bet to see who can save $100 every single month until you turn 65. Now from 18 to 65 is 47 years. Okay, it's a long time, but you make this bet and you're committed to it. And so now we're going to fast forward 47 years. You're 65 years old now. You get together with your friend because you're going to talk about whether or not each one of you accomplished this. And your friend is very excited because she did. She was able to save $100 every single month. And she put that $100 in her mattress. So every month she stuffed that mattress with $100. And here's the thing about saving, getting in the habit of saving money. Once you learn to live, you actually learn to live without that money quite easily if you don't have access to it. So if you get in the habit of saving a little bit every single month and you put it aside, you'd be surprised at how easily you learn to live without that. So it's a pretty good habit to get into. All right, so the actual amount that your friend has earned, because this represents what she earned, the $55,000. The actual amount is $56,400. Okay. $56,400. Nothing to sneeze at. That's a lot of money. Good for her for doing that. So now it's your turn to share out, and you say, you know what? I did the same thing. I also saved $100 every month, but instead of putting mine in my mattress, I put it in an investment that earned 6% annual interest. And I earned over those 47 years, because that interest compounded. Remember that earlier example where we saw that the interest grows on the interest? That interest compounding, and I ended up with $313,187. That's $100 a month for 47 years, compounded 6% annually. Okay. The difference between these two numbers is $256,787. So now let's compare those. Take your tape and take about an inch of it, and you're going to place the yarn on that tape so that we can compare them side by side. And I'm going to fold down the top of mine because it's just easier for me to hold it that way. Might be easier for you as well. Okay, so here we go. Now you're not going to be able to see all of this green. By the way, I chose green for money. This green yarn, but you are going to be able to see the significant difference, right, between what you both put in, which was $56,400 represented right there, between that and all of this. It is endless. This represents the $256,000 in compound interest. I call this free money. Why? Because of this. This $56,000, what did you do to earn that money? Well, when you were 18, maybe you flipped burgers, and maybe you filed papers, then you got your first job and you worked hard at that, but you got in the habit of saving the money, okay, and but you worked hard for that money. That's called active income. This part here, the $256,000, okay, you earned this money when you were watching Saturday cartoons, when you were hanging out on the beach with your friends, when you were sleeping. Okay, this is called passive income because you earned that money without doing anything at all. It was the compounding, the interest growing on the interest. Very cool. That's free money. Now I want to show you one final thing. Take that yarn again, and this time cut that first color in so that it's 5 inches long. Now if each one of those inches represents $10,000, what we've got here is $50,000. And take the second color yarn and measure that one out 20 inches. So I'm going to go down my ruler here, that's 12, and I'm going to go up the back side to the number 4 because that's going to represent 20 inches, those additional 8 that I need. Okay, so, and if each one of these is 10,000, each inch is $10,000, then what I've got represented here is $200,000. Again, look at the huge difference. This is when you start at age 25. I don't know if I said that, but this is starting at age 25. So let's compare it to when you started at age 18. Okay, it's still the compounding. All of this stuff here is still pretty significant, right? It's obviously not as much as if you started earlier, but it's still a lot of money. And this is the key. Actually, these are the 3 keys that I want to leave you with. The 3 keys to compounding are time. The longer you leave your money in, okay, the more it can grow. The second one is the amount of money that you put in. Obviously, if you had put in $200 a month, it would look significantly different. If you put in $50 a month, it would look different. Okay, so the amount of money. And then the third one is the rate that you're getting. And this example that we showed here was 6% annual compounding interest. Okay, so the time, the amount, and the rate that you're getting are the 3 keys to compounding. You guys are young. You have this information now. Why don't you start saving some of your money and let it start working for you?